Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, a very special message is addressed to you, chosen by Allah. You who carry within you a unique light, but who perhaps ignore the extent of the divine protection that surrounds you. You know, there are things that others perceive in you, a strength, an aura, a hidden secret. What many do not know is that because of what others know about you, special forces, invisible but powerful, have been assigned to watch over you and protect you in the shadows. Imagine for a moment that you are never alone, that behind every step you take, a heavenly army covers you, surrounds you, fights for you against invisible enemies. It may seem incredible, almost unreal, but it is a truth anchored in the Quran and the Sunnah, a reality that only the chosen ones can fully experience. This is not ordinary protection, but divine protection, specific, adapted to your mission and your destiny. But this protection is not given to everyone, nor to just anyone. It is reserved for those whom Allah chooses, those whom He recognizes as worthy, those who bear the weight of immense spiritual responsibility. And that is why, because of what others know about you, your faith, your perseverance, your light, special forces are assigned to guard you, to combat the forces of evil that seek to harm you. This video will reveal this powerful reality to you and invite you to understand how you are supported even when you feel vulnerable. You will discover the subtle mechanisms of this protection, the role of angels, and how Allah orchestrates everything to preserve His chosen ones. You will also understand why spiritual attacks are often directed against you, and how your faith and vigilance are the keys to maintaining this protection. So don't look away. Never underestimate this truth, even if it seems invisible to the naked eye. What you are about to hear is a call to awareness, gratitude, and above all, inner strength. For being one of Allah's chosen ones means accepting a sacred burden while receiving unparalleled divine protection. Prepare to dive into a dimension where the visible and the invisible intersect, where faith becomes armor, and where the light of Allah guides every step. This video is for you, chosen one whom nothing and no one can break. Understanding the nature of the elect means, above all, recognizing that they carry within them a special light, a divine mark that others can sometimes perceive, even without understanding its source. These elect are not simply ordinary believers. They are those whom Allah has chosen for a special mission, those whose hearts are illuminated by a deep, sincere, and often tested faith. What others know about them goes far beyond outward appearances. Sometimes it's an aura of calm and wisdom, a quiet strength that attracts or intrigues. Sometimes it's their ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity, their resilience in the face of difficulties. This knowledge, even unconscious, inspires respect, fear, or sometimes jealousy and opposition. This external perception is a spiritual truth that is part of divine wisdom. Allah reveals to creatures, both visible and invisible, certain realities about His chosen ones. This is why angels, jinn, and even the forces of evil are informed of their importance and role. This knowledge causes the assignment of special forces sent by Allah to protect and support these chosen ones on their path. This protection is not automatic or blind. It is linked to the mission and responsibility that weigh on these chosen hearts. For being chosen also means being a target. The forces of evil seek to destabilize, weaken, and divert the servants of Allah from their path. They know that to attack the chosen is to attack the light itself. Thus, divine protection
is a direct response to what others know and perceive about you. It is personalized, tailored to the specific challenges you face. It can take the form of invisible guardian angels, spiritual supports, or even divine interventions that change the course of events to preserve your faith and mission. Recognizing this is a source of immense strength. It means that, even in moments of loneliness or doubt, you are never truly alone. Somewhere, in the unseen realm, a heavenly army is watching over you, ready to intervene at the right moment. This support gives you courage and assurance that nothing and no one can take away from you. But it also requires a keen awareness. Knowing that this protection exists should not lead to pride or negligence. On the contrary, it imposes a duty of vigilance, humility, and responsibility. For the relationship between the Chosen One and Allah is based on trust, faith, and the constant effort to stay on the straight and narrow. In reality, what others know about you is a mirror of what your heart carries. This inner light you carry is visible, palpable, and arouses both admiration and opposition. But it is also the cause of the divine protection granted to you. For Allah never leaves His chosen ones without support in the face of trials. The reality of Allah's special forces is a powerful truth that often surpasses our limited understanding. These forces are not visible to the naked eye, but their presence is constant, real, and effective. Among them, angels occupy a central place. Allah sends these luminous creatures to watch over His chosen ones, to protect them from dangers both visible and invisible, and to accompany them on their spiritual journey. Angels are not mere spectators. They act according to Allah's command, with incomparable precision and power. They are specifically assigned to defend the chosen ones, to repel attacks from the forces of evil, whether jinn, shaitan, or other entities that seek to disrupt peace and faith. These special forces are not a myth, but a reality clearly mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah. For example, the Quran tells us about the angels who surround the Prophet, who protect believers, who convey Allah's commandments, and who intervene in difficult situations. They are also responsible for guiding, supporting, and sometimes even changing the course of events to ensure the success of the divine mission entrusted to the chosen ones. This divine protection operates on several levels. It can manifest itself through sudden inspirations that help one make the right decision, through inner peace that protects against doubts, or through circumstances that prevent evil from occurring. Sometimes, the chosen ones do not immediately realize this presence, but over time, they recognize the clear signs of this divine intervention. It is important to understand that these special forces do not work to make the path easy or free from hardship. On the contrary, the life of a chosen one is often marked by tests that strengthen faith and patience. But they ensure that despite the challenges, the chosen one will never be left to their own devices, and that Allah guarantees constant protection and support. This divine help requires cooperation from the chosen one. Sincere faith, prayer, trust in Allah, and vigilance are the keys that unlock the door to this protection. In return, the angels intensify their presence and intervention, creating an invisible shield around the believer. Recognizing this reality gives the chosen one immense strength in the face of life's storms. He knows that behind every difficulty, there is a divine hand ready to support him. He understands that even in moments of apparent solitude, he is accompanied by a heavenly army, faithful and powerful. Finally, this divine protection underlines the greatness of Allah and His perfect justice. He never leaves His sincere servants defenseless, for He is the best of protectors. This confidence in His protection inspires the serenity, patience, and determination necessary to move forward in faith, despite trials. When we speak of divine protection,
it is essential to understand how it manifests itself concretely in the daily lives of Allah's chosen ones. This protection is not limited to a distant or abstract spiritual presence. It acts in every detail, in every moment, often without our being fully aware of it. In your life, this protection may reveal itself through events that at first glance seem fortuitous or natural, but which actually bear the signature of Allah. For example, you may be spared from a danger you did not perceive, or encounter unexpected help at the precise moment you needed it most. These subtle interventions are all proof that special forces are watching over you, orchestrated by the Almighty. Sometimes, this protection takes the form of a deep inner peace, a calm that withstands external storms. Even when trials strike, this serenity persists, reminding you that you are not alone, and that divine light illuminates your path. This peace is a precious sign that the angels are at your side, fighting for you in the invisible. In other cases, protection manifests as renewed strength in the face of difficulties. You may feel an energy, an inner courage that surpasses what you thought you could bear. This invisible support allows you to continue, to persevere, even when everything seems to be collapsing around you. It's a precious aid, a true spiritual shield. This protection also influences your ability to make the right choices. Sometimes, you are guided toward decisions that avoid pitfalls and major mistakes. This guidance can take the form of strong intuitions, dreams, or signs that guide you. It is the hand of Allah and His angels that guides you with gentleness and wisdom. But this protection does not guarantee a life without trials. On the contrary, it includes the strength needed to face these trials, not their absence. Trials are an integral part of the path of the elect, for they purify, strengthen, and elevate faith. Divine protection therefore acts as a constant support, allowing one to overcome difficulties without losing faith or hope. It's also important to emphasize that this protection requires active cooperation on your part. Prayer, remembrance of Allah, reciting the Quran, and seeking refuge from evil are all ways to strengthen this protective shield. By nurturing your relationship with Allah, you invite His protection to fully manifest in your life. Ultimately, this protection is a sign of Allah's greatness and mercy. It demonstrates His love for His chosen ones and His desire to preserve them to fulfill the mission He has entrusted to them. Knowing that you are protected by heavenly forces can fill you with courage and confidence to move forward, even in the darkest moments. In the spiritual journey of the chosen ones, it is important to understand that divine protection does not mean the absence of trials. On the contrary, trials and invisible attacks are an integral part of the journey, as they are means by which Allah purifies the heart, strengthens faith, and sharpens vigilance. These invisible attacks often take the form of temptations, doubts, discouragement, or even difficult trials that arise without warning. They may seem unfair or incomprehensible, but their role is fundamental. They test the strength of your faith and your sincere attachment to Allah. The forces of evil know that the chosen ones carry a light capable of illuminating the darkness around them. Therefore, they intensify their attacks, seeking to weaken this light, to sow confusion, to divert the servant from his path. These attacks are not only external, they can come from within, in the form of negative thoughts, anxieties, or doubts. It's essential not to underestimate the nature of these challenges. They are often subtle, insidious, and difficult to detect. Sometimes they manifest as feelings of loneliness, abandonment, or a sudden drop in spiritual motivation. But it is precisely these moments that require heightened vigilance. Awareness of these invisible attacks should prompt the chosen one to strengthen his or her relationship with Allah through prayer, meditation, recitation of the Quran, and supplication. It is in this renewed connection that true protection lies, as it creates a spiritual shield against negative influences. Furthermore, understanding that these trials are a form of teaching allows us to adopt an attitude of patience and gratitude. Each difficulty is an opportunity for growth, a means of purifying the soul, and a step towards a deeper and more sincere faith. The Prophet himself endured intense trials, and he taught his companions to accept them with patience and trust in divine wisdom. This model is a precious example for all the chosen ones who seek to persevere despite invisible attacks. It must also be remembered that divine protection does not preclude free will. The chosen one must remain active, vigilant, and not give in to negligence or complacency. Faith is a constant struggle, a sustained effort to resist temptations and distractions. Finally, this step invites us to trust in Allah's justice, even in the darkest moments. He is the best of protectors, the one who rewards patience and guides us toward the light. This trust is a beacon that illuminates the path and gives us the strength to continue, despite attacks. Faith and vigilance are the essential pillars that enable Allah's chosen ones to maintain divine protection in their daily lives. This protection, although powerful, cannot be fully effective without the active cooperation of the believer, who must nurture their relationship with Allah and remain attentive to their spiritual environment.
Faith is the inner light that illuminates the path, even when the darkness of life seems to invade the soul. It is this unwavering trust in divine wisdom that allows us to face trials without losing courage or hope. Faith is not limited to mere intellectual belief. It is a commitment of the heart, a living connection with the Creator, manifested in every word, every deed, every thought.
Vigilance, on the other hand, is the constant state of alertness that protects the soul from the traps of the shaitan and negative forces. Being vigilant means observing one's own thoughts, monitoring one's actions, and maintaining a clear awareness of the divine presence. It also involves recognizing when the soul is weak or distracted and acting with determination to return to the right path. This vigilance translates concretely into regular spiritual practices: prayer with concentration, attentive reading of the Quran, dhikr, remembrance of Allah, and supplication. These acts nourish the soul, strengthen faith, and reinforce the protective shield that God has placed around the chosen one. But vigilance also includes prudence in relationships and life choices. The believer must know how to distance himself from toxic influences, avoid dangerous situations, and seek the company of those who encourage him in his faith. This practical wisdom is an essential complement to divine protection. It is also crucial to recognize that faith and vigilance are ongoing endeavors. There is never a time when the believer can afford to let their guard down. The spiritual life is a constant struggle, an inner jihad that requires perseverance, discipline, and humility. However, this struggle is not solitary. Allah promises to help those who sincerely strive for Him. Divine strength is always available to those who seek it with a sincere heart. This promise is a source of comfort and encouragement for the chosen ones who sometimes feel weak or isolated. Finally, maintaining this divine protection through faith and vigilance allows one to live a life full of meaning and inner peace. The believer understands that every trial, every victory, every moment of peace is a gift from Allah, a manifestation of His love and wisdom. In short, faith and vigilance are the keys that unlock the door to divine protection. They transform the life of the chosen one into a sacred journey, illuminated by the light of Allah and protected by His invisible forces. Walking this path with confidence and determination is the most powerful testimony to the sincerity of a servant. As you come to the end of this spiritual journey, it is time to fully understand what it means to walk under the divine protection of Allah. Being a chosen one is not only a heavenly guardianship, but also a sacred responsibility, a commitment to yourself, to your faith, and to your Creator. This divine protection is not an assurance of an easy or obstacle-free path. On the contrary, it is a source of strength that allows you to overcome every difficulty, every trial, every moment of doubt. It is an invisible but powerful presence that accompanies you every step of the way, reminding you that you are never alone. Walking confidently under this protection requires a sincere, humble, and vigilant heart. It involves nourishing your faith and staying connected to Allah through prayer, dhikr, and the study of the Quran. It is also an invitation to patience, for the lives of the chosen are often punctuated by trials intended to purify and strengthen the soul. Never let challenges make you forget the greatness of this protection. Every attack you feel, every obstacle that stands in your way is an opportunity to grow, to strengthen your bond with Allah, and to prove your spiritual resilience. It is in these moments that the presence of Allah's special forces is most intense. Remember that you are part of a vast community of chosen believers who, throughout history, have faced the same struggles and drawn strength from the mercy and power of Allah. Their example is a source of inspiration, a reminder that you are not alone on this path. This awareness should also motivate you to act with love, justice, and compassion in your daily life. Divine protection is also a call to be a living example of Allah's light in this world, to spread goodness, and to be a pillar of support for those around you. Finally, this message is an encouragement to never give up. No matter how heavy your trials, how deep your doubts, or how long your journey, Allah is there, ready to support you, lift you up, and welcome you into His mercy. Take this time to renew your commitment, to rekindle your faith, and to walk with confidence on the path Allah has laid out for you. May your life be a living testimony to His protection, His wisdom, and His greatness. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.